Greetings YouTube and welcome to the Blue Corner, and in this video I've got for you guys a deck profile, and it's going to be on the Chaos Saffira Queen of Dragons ritual deck that you've seen me play for the last while on DevPro. I even took it to the locals as well to see how it did, and it did actually a lot better than I thought. That's largely because Jin Releaser Rituals just poops on just about every good deck, and it pretty much has ever since 2009 when the card first came out. So yeah, I'm pretty certain there are a couple of people who are curious to see my take on this deck, so here it is for you guys. No long-winded intro, let's just get right down to the nitty-gritty. I just want to make this video under 15 minutes. It's asking for a lot when I have a fair bit to explain in here, but we're going to try. So, this deck is built around Saffira, the Queen of Dragons, a level 6 Dragon-type light ritual monster, which is all kinds of fun things. And she has 3 powerful effects that trigger when the turn ends and she has been ritual summoned, or you discard a light from your hand or from the deck to the graveyard. They are: you draw 2 cards, then discard 1, knock a card out of your opponent's hand, and add a light monster from your graveyard back to your hand. You can only use one of these effects during a turn, and you can only activate Saffira once per turn, like every good Yu-Gi-Oh card. And which one you use will be dependent upon the situation. If your hand is bad, you'll draw. If your opponent is down to 1 or 2 cards in hand, you'll knock something out of the hand. And if you have a Veiler or an Honest in your graveyard, you'll pick it back up, because those things are busted in, at least in this deck, and looping Honest every turn is just dumb. So that's her effects, but you won't really be using Saffira for those effects. You're going to be using her because she's conveniently level 6, 2500 beater, and because she's level 6, she's searchable through Preparation of Rites, and because she's 6, you can summon her using a Tour Guide summon, which is really good. As all you need is Tour Guide, this, and the ritual spell, and you have your level 6 play. So that's basically the main appeal to summoning Saffira. The idea is you summon her stacking the Jins, which will turn her into an unkillable floodgate, and your opponent cannot play Yu-Gi-Oh, therefore you win. It's the same basic concept as the Divine Grace Northlemco decks I've built in the past, except because this is a level 6, she's a lot easier to play as opposed to Northlemco. Sad face, but same style, so I'm all fine with that. So we'll put her up here. And then, of course, the rest of the deck. To remind you, this should be easy to explain. And 2 Jins of Rituals, 1 Releaser, and 1 Demolisher. Just a quick recap on what these guys do. When they're in the graveyard, you can banish them as tributes for a ritual summon if you're going to perform a ritual summon, so you don't have to completely banish yourself in order to drop Saffira. If you have 2 of these engraved, Saffira and the ritual spell, then all you're doing is just going -1 for the ritual spell, which will protect your monster from a destruction, so it ends up being a break even. So that's their first effect, and they have an additional effect is, if they're used as ritual material, the summoned monster gains additional effects while it's in play. And it doesn't matter if these guys are no longer in graveyard or if they get shuffled back into the deck or whatever. As long as they were used for the ritual summon, you get your effect. And your 2 effects are Jin Demolisher Rituals, makes it so your card cannot be targeted by your opponent's effects, which is very powerful in a format right now where the best cards target. Talking Breakthrough Skill, Karma Cut, Phoenix Wing, Wing Blast, Lance, Chalice, Arc, Castel. A lot of things just target, so having immunity to these is really nice. It turns your Saffira into a Leo, and a lot of decks just have problems getting over Leo. And then Jin Releaser gives your monster ability of your opponent cannot special summon, which has always been a really powerful ability, see Northlemco. And just having an unkillable, basically a Leo plus Vanity Fiend combined into 1 card is really dumb, and it will win you games just because of that, because people just don't know what these cards do. But yeah, that's how good this deck can be. Of course, if you don't set this play up, it becomes a little more difficult for you to win the game. You can still win off of just grinding with Saffira with just 1 of these guys and have their effects off. Depends what else you have. Like if you have a Vanity's Emptiness, then go with Demolisher. If you don't have an Emptiness, go with Releaser and just tank on her until you can set up another Saffira. Then, because we're playing the Jins, the Tour Guide engine is really helpful, and because we're playing Tour Guide, 2 Skarms to fetch out Tour Guide. Skarm also can fetch out the 2 Jins. So Tour Guide into Skarm into level rank 3 play can get you to a Jin that you need so that you can perform a virtual power play during the next turn. And because we're wanting to put Skarms and Jins in the graveyard, 2 copies of Mathematician. He's also level 3, so if you have him, Saffira, and a ritual spell in hand, you can just dump a Jin and then sack this guy and banish the Jin for a ritual summon. Plus he draws you a card when he dies, which is helpful in a deck that's basically a combo deck. 2 Valor and an Honest for your hand traps. I kind of do want to take it up to 3 Valor, just because, yeah, these guys trigger Saffira, so more chances to trigger her would be nice, but I ended up cutting one of the Valors to make room for a couple more traps, because the original build that this is based on wasn't running traps, it was just Decree, which is actually pretty okay, and I think I might go to that. But I wanted to run some more real traps like Vanity's Emptiness, because it just poops on everything. But yeah, those 2 cards are busted in here, especially as Honest. You can just summon a Manju, beat over a monster by pitching Honest, and you get that card back, so your opponent can't attack Manju, and you're free to just tank on Saffira if you're reading Prisons. Singleton, Thunder King Ryo, honestly, I'm not sure if I really care for this card in here anymore. I mean, it won me 1 game, but the normal summon is so important here, because all your other normal summons are going to be either Mathematician, Tour Guide, or Manju. Like, I usually have these 3 cards in hand, and I'd rather would summon any of these as opposed to Thunder King. I mean, he's good when you have Saffira in play, and he just helps you lock down stuff, but I just don't know. I think I should probably cut this from here. And then, because I'm playing Light and Darks, 2 Chaos Monsters, BLS and Sork. Sork's level 6, so I can always just Soul Charge it back, plus a Saffira that got killed, and make a rank 6. And then BLS is BLS, he's dumb. And hey, you can loop Honest, so you can BLS Honest people every turn, assuming they are dead. For the spells, 3 copies of the Hymn of Light. This is Saffira's ritual spell. Unlike a lot of more of the recent ritual spells, this allows you to tribute monsters whose levels are 6 and higher in order to summon her. So you can just sack a 4 and a 3 to get play. So Manju plus a Jin, perfect. And its other effect is if it's in the graveyard and a ritual monster you control would be destroyed, or rather I should say ritual monsters, you can banish this card and that destruction doesn't happen. Which gives you a nice out to the things that can kill Saffira, like Battle, Bottomless, Torrential Tribute, Dark Hole, and Regeki. And usually those are your opponent's really only outs to killing her. So him pretty much makes it so that Saffira is almost impossible to kill. 3 Preparation of Rites to search them out. Busted in here. 3 Upside Goblins because this is a combo deck. I want to get to my pieces. Most of my best plays come off of having a specific number of cards in hand. Usually 3, so just getting them is better. 2 MST to kill Emptiness. The 1 Foolish to put Skarm, the Dins in the graveyard. The 1 Soul Charge because it's all we get now. And even then I was only running the 1 of for just those times where I need to make a rank 4. Soul Charge is how you make your rank 4s and your rank 6s. And then for traps, since I was running the Skarms, I put in a couple Wing Blast, a couple Trap Stun to shut off things, and then a couple Emptiness. These I found to be not as great as I thought they would be. I mean, they're still good, but I think just going 3/3 Trap Stun Emptiness would be better. That way you can just flip up Stun, lock down their back row, summon Saffira to lock down their monsters, and then you just flip up Emptiness to completely lock them out of the game. No chance, no nada. So that's it for the main deck, and as for the extra deck, you do kind of need it if you're playing the Tour Guide build, because rank 3s are a bit helpful in here. Let's see, Mech Equipped Engineer, Levier, Alucard, Zemines, Giga Brilliant. This one's really good in here. Just pumping Saffira to 28 allows her to get over certain attack barriers. Leviathan Dragon because I don't have Dante IRL. Dante is kind of expensive, and there is a distinct difference in having him and not having him. He's the safest turn 1 play with Tour Guide. Just mill 3, sit on his 2500 defense, and if you milled a ritual spell while having a preparation of rights in hand, that's even better. But yeah, unfortunately I have to bust out this guy. I mean, 2500 is still okay, and I used him plus Giga Brilliant to eventually power over a Judgment Dragon, which was kind of nice. Because I'm running rank 3s, down to Magician, and then for 4s, Arc, Chain, Exciton, Castel, Dweller, 1 M7, and then I also ran a couple Synchros. Armades for Valor plus Manju, and then Black Rose for Chaos Sorcerer plus Valor. You don't really use the Synchros that often, but they're kind of there. And that's pretty much it for the deck itself. It's a pretty fun tier 2 deck. I wouldn't exactly call it cheap though, because Preparation of Rites are $60 for a playset, but maybe those will get reprinted in Legendary 5's collection. Here's hoping. As is though, yeah, it's pretty mad fun. If you're looking for something a little bit different to play, give this a shot. And just watch your opponent's faces when you troll them with the Djinns, because this card has been out since 2009, and even now people still don't know what these things do because they don't read them. Like, why can't I see summon? Read my Djinns. Is it so hard? Yes. And that's why that person's on Pojo. In any case though, that's it for the video. Running around 10 minutes, so yeah, we'll just cut it here. Thank you guys for watching. Until the next time, this is Booster899, jacking out.